single time.
Yeah, they don't have to change. They don't have to change
checks
anything.
out
Yeah,
with
like
what Jenkins was saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the if you want a little bit of draft insight, I think the players to watch in the draft, honestly, a lot of it comes down to, first of all, Abed's hero pool in this term has been very, like, how to say, it's been very uniform. It's been a lot of these spirit heroes mid. It's been the tempo controllers.
Yep.
Against Vici Gaming, they're going to know what's coming because it's been the same basically every game from EG here, let's be honest. So the question is, okay, how are Vici Gaming going to adapt to that? Because sometimes in Vici Gaming's draft, they get very passive. They pick like these massive teamfight heroes that need really long. I think there was a game at the last major where it felt like, okay, Vici Gaming are just playing until the game is over, and they never really got the fight they were looking for.
Yeah, they have some of the longest games of the tournament.
And there's like two ways of approaching this kind of EG strat. One is that you fight them head on, and you have something that's just as good, or you pick some defensive team fighters that can hold towers, and then you put Poyoyo on some of his like hyper carries like Spectre, Terrorblade, whereas Arteezy in this series I think is maybe more likely to play something like the Luna that we saw the other day. So maybe EG, this is one of the few opponents that they're actually clearly faster than on average. So I think you should play to that if you're EG in this strategy.
How do you know that they won't go, I can outlate game you? Because we saw Arteezy also playing some Naga Siren as well and stuff like that. So which approach do you think that EG would favor?
I think if I were EG, I would probably try the slightly higher tempo, because when I see Vici Gaming struggle the most, it's when they get pressured really hard in lanes. And that's something EG's players are very good at. I think that strategy is way more likely to work against Vici than, say, someone like PSG, LGD, or IG, who have been, in my opinion, overall looking more consistent in laning stages. So trying to take advantage of that. Carries that I would love to see for Arteezy, Luna, Ursa, you know, these like high-tempo heroes could be great.
All right, well, fantastic. Looks like things are about to get rolling, my friends. It is time for the draft panel. Let's throw it on over to Avocado and the boys. It's Avocado. It's Avo.
Evil Geniuses versus VG Gaming. Game 1.
Hello. Thank you for that wonderful throw, Slex. I'm trying to hide in shame after that interview, so I appreciate that. Now people can't find me. Effie is here with me, so is Lacoste, and we're going to be analyzing the draft for the first game of Vici versus EG. I'm going to start out by you, Effie. I know you're a fan of Chinese Dota. What can we be expecting in this draft for Vici Gaming?
I think we're going to see IO very contested amongst both teams. Tidehunter very contested. Weaver, Doom, they're there. And I think we should expect Vici to go for old 11s here in first phase. They didn't do that yesterday, and it was quite surprising. I think they were trying to catch Virtus Pro off guard, but it just didn't work. But in the groups, they've had the most success picking around the same 5 heroes for 11 in first phase. So I think if they can secure that without getting banned out, it might simplify their strategy on how to approach this game.
Yeah. The matchup that I'm most looking forward to is the mid matchup, because I'm a bit worried for Ori. Like, through the season 1, he's been struggling. At the start of the season 2, he played really well. Yesterday, he got bodied by GPK. There was a lot of fixing that needed to be done by both supports. So if it's the case, like, I want to see him on a better hero. I want him to have that extra, like, 5% in terms of the lane matchup. That a bit of advantage. This time around, Vici Gaming, Monkey and Lion.
But I'm so glad you brought that up, actually, because that's something that was really concerning me with Ori. He had a really rough season, and then throughout all of groups, it seemed like he really stepped up his game.
Yeah.
And then when he faced GPK, he just crumbled. And we talked about it yesterday, saying that this is the matchup to watch, right? Ori versus GPK. And in the same vein, if he can't win his lane or just go even with Aved, I'm worried for Vici's ability to match EG in tempo.
You were saying, Lacoste, that you were a bit worried before TI started. That you were a bit worried if Ori was back in TI form. We saw him in groups. He looked good.
Yeah. Throughout the group stage, he really looked good. I don't know what happened yesterday, but he's gonna need to step up if he wants to be matched up nicely against Abed. Because as panel talked about, these EG players, they're really good at putting a lot of pressure early on out on the map, so they need to be ready with the TPs, and we can see ET. This is one of the heroes that is better, in terms of counter initiation. EG also, they're not afraid to first phase Ice hero, and here we see it again. Beastmaster plus ET, most likely gonna be 5 plus your position 3 here.
And I'm really fond of first phasing your offlane hero, actually, and it's a bit surprising that Vici chose not to do it again, because typically these heroes do get banned out when they need them, and teams end up with a less than desirable Sand King pick or something like an Underlord even, right? So hopefully that doesn't happen too much, but to add on to ET, this hero has just been so excellent. The way that EG play it, basically, is that crit kind of leaves at some point, and Ice 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 fights or leads the fights for a while, while crit just sits and farms. He just had a 27-minute Ags or something like that a couple of days ago, and it really works out for them, the way these two players synergize.
ET farm priority, you know that he's gonna give it back. I remember a game where OG won in like 23 minutes. Saxa had the 20-minute Aghanim Scepter, so if you can shift your farm, you know, maybe say, I don't need that extra 1,000 gold, ET is gonna do miracles with it, because once he gets to that Aghanim Scepter, the game just like feels completely different. EG banning out Tidehunter, no surprise there. Beastmaster, ET, they don't provide you with any kind of lockdown, and we already see Doom is being banned out, one of the better counters for the Tidehunter. Vici had a decent amount of success with the Tide.
And this is what we were talking about how they're just going to ban these really strong offlane heroes in this phase, and we're not going to be left with the ideal pick here, and that happened with the Tidehunter and the Timbersaw. ET's just been so excellent, really, that if Vici don't ban something like a Luna or a Terrorblade, this is the kind of draft that EG wants to play.
Yeah, I believe these two heroes that you just mentioned, Effie, are going to be highly contested by both of these teams. I think maybe we're going to see both of them actually being picked if they're not banned out. One thing I wanted to see coming into this matchup is EG getting more tower damage. I'm talking about sieging the tier 3 towers, and that's exactly what they get from the Beastmaster. We still don't see the carry, because Vici Gaming, historically, they've been the team that decision-making in the late games is always going to be good, always going to be top-notch. They're going to turtle as much as they can, so you need to be able to break them.
This Invoker ban from Vici, a little bit surprising, but given their heroes, I do suppose that it makes sense, right? Invoker can purge Jingasak's not the easiest hero to gank mid with Lion and Monkey King duo support, so.
What hero would you be thinking them for Abed here? So actually, let's go to the other mid laner for Vici. Because you were saying that you want Ori to just feel good right now. You want him to feel comfortable. What are some heroes that we could be seeing here for Ori that would get him back in tip-top shape?
Lina, Puck, TA, these are the classic Ori heroes. Even a Dragonite, if the matchup is good, you know, he's not the most flashy hero, but gets the job done.
I think Void Spirit is also a very good hero for him and a good hero in this meta. It's just that yesterday's performance on it wasn't ideal, but he has impressed on it before. I've seen him come back from 30k net worth deficits, but he did have a Doom with him, so that makes a huge difference. I wouldn't mind seeing a Void Spirit for him, that's for sure. It's just, depending on what Spirit hero they go for Abed here, it might end up being a mistake, right? So a lot of it is up in the air. And there's the Luna ban that we were talking about. That makes a lot of sense.
Because Luna plus Beastmaster, once these heroes group up together early on, it just feels so good. The tower push that you get from it is insane. You get a lot of team fight as well. Luna with the Eclipse, Beastmaster core to set things up, and also Beastmaster against Monkey King always going to be good with the Axis, providing vision with the Hawk. So Monkey in this game might not have the best game. Because usually, if that's a position for Monkey, he spends a lot of, like 90% of the time just sitting on the trees.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought up Vision, actually, because with the combination of ET and Beastmaster, it seems like these areas like Roshan or the Triangle at some point are not ever going to be secure for Vici if EG do manage to win their lanes and snowball that into an advantage. Monkey King is an incredibly popular hero, and I can see why, but as a support, he's so easily countered, especially by heroes like Dawnbreaker and Beastmaster that are wildly popular in the meta at the moment.
So then does that deter the potential flex of the Monkey King? Because you were talking about the whole idea of picking offlane in their first phase, but most teams have been trying to either pick support plus flex or 2 supports straight up if they have the 2 picks, not the first and fourth pick of the draft.
I don't think there's anything wrong with Lion and Monkey as your position 4 and 5, because Lion fixes a lot of the draft. Sometimes you see like, IO plus 1 extra hero that doesn't have any kind of silent stun, and then you're in a bit of a trouble, which allows enemy to pick heroes that could potentially abuse that. Lion fixes a lot of those issues.
Also, Lion directly counters Ovid's hero pool, right? Puck and Storm and Ember. So it's a nice thing to secure for yourself early on in the draft. It's just that Monkey King 4 here doesn't seem like it's going to have the greatest game.
There's a Storm for Ori. You talk about some of the Spirit heroes. Storm is definitely in that pool, very confident on the hero, and a hero with a relatively high win rate, this TI.
Well, currently it looks like a good Storm game, right? All there is a Primal Roar. There's no instant stun from the ET. He can jump on him in the backlines and get rid of that natural order fairly quickly. And that's going to be very useful in team fights. I can see him going for something like Orchid BKB this game just to make sure that there's no issue in what he faces next, right? Because I believe there's still a Disruptor in the pool, which is typically what teams would go for in this case.
Yeah, they might need to get some kind of silence for the Storm Spirit. Lina also still available in the pool. I don't think you want to go for Ember type of a hero because he just loses the Storm. Yesterday, one of the games, I believe I've said 60, maybe even 65. Oh, well, there we go. Sometimes you just have to go for it.
Because it goes both ways, right? Ember can also catch Storm and things like that. It's just that his job is much harder.
Yeah, for just the laning stage, Storm Spirit feels much, much stronger. And we talked about the silence. You brought it up. Scarlet Mage is going to be that hero, the instant silence that will provide a bit more lockdown for the Storm Spirit. He definitely does not like the plane. You already mentioned the itemization that Storm will need to go for. I think, like, even though you're playing into Beastmaster, BKB as your second item is a kind of must when you're playing against Scarlet Mage, because there are no saves whatsoever on your side. There's no healings. There's nothing that can, buy some time for you to survive in a team fight.
Yeah, so these, as Lacoste was saying, these two picks do ensure an early BKB on Storm, which isn't ideal for him usually. He likes to avoid things like that, but that's just the nature of what happens if you pick him early on. Also, the slight plus chains combo is incredibly prominent in Skyrath Mage, right? You'd think to yourself, yeah, I'll combo with Roar, but it's actually much more low committal to do it with an Ember early game. They should be able to burst Storm, Monkey King, even Medusa.
Yeah, between the natural order and the ancient seal, you have so much magic.
It's insane how much damage you can deal with that. I think VG Gaming needs to get rid of Ursa because he feels super strong against the Monkey King and be inside the Wukong's command, even though it's going to be a position for Monkey from what it seems. Natural Diffusal builder, which is also going to be great against both Storm Spirit and the Medusa. I just overall love Ursa against Medusa matchup. And it's EG is Radiant, so that means that once you do the switcheroo, once the tier 1 towers fall, you can always go to the top lane and threaten the Roshan, because you have really good heroes. Beastmaster will be providing the vision. That means that VG Gaming need to play around the Roche pit, which something is that they don't want to. They want to be playing the bottom part of the map where they have vision.
That's a very good point. I'm looking at this Medusa pick right now, and honestly, VT are in dire need of some sort of defensive offlaner that can come and help when the triangle gets invaded, right? But they've already banned everything out at this point. What's left is potentially a Mars, but I don't consider him the greatest defensive offlaner. So VT could just take a different approach.
Oh, it's AM game. Like, they need to ban out AM. These are the heroes that work the best in the lane, both Legion Commander and Slardar, because they don't need mana. They can pressure. Even if you use counterspell, you're still going to get dueled, and Slardar one of the best ones against AM in the lane for sure. So they need, I believe it's just going to be AM or Ursa, whichever one is not banned, the other is going to get picked for EG.
I will agree with that, absolutely. Especially just to go back on the point that I was talking on, there really isn't some kind of defensive hero to help this Medusa at the moment.
There's the AM ban you were talking about, so let's see if the Ursa gets picked up here.
It's not the greatest Ursa game, but if they hit their tempo, it'll become incredibly potent, right? Because typically later on when he plays versus heroes like this, like Medusa and Lion, he's going to get kited, and Monkey King even when he gets items. But if they just want to play this early game snowball advantage, which is EG's playstyle, they win the lanes and just choke enemies out of the map, Ursa could work here, like Lacoste was saying.
Oh, thanks. What about this matchup, the core-to-core, particularly against Medusa?
I don't remember seeing it, but they have ways of kiting. They have also a great setup with ET Stomp, Roar, long-range initiation, coming out from Slight Chains combo. And it also gives them a bit more tower damage. Maybe that's why they decided to go for Clinks. Instead, something that I brought up is sieging the tier 3 towers, which is going to be important. And VG Gaming with Medusa, I think they're going to feel pretty safe just sitting there inside the base if things don't go well.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have the greatest hero to go in here. Okay, Bloodseeker.
Last pick, Bloodseeker offlane here. Is that...
I don't particularly like it so much, but I understand what they're trying to do with it, right? They want to just instantly kill a target, right? You could put it on Storm Spirit and him and Lion just go kill the Clinks together very quickly. Also, they can just use the Rupture for early aggression, which is what I was trying to say. If you're not going to go for the defensive offlaner that's all been banned out, you have to play the aggressive playstyle. You have to pressure them in order for them to not pressure you.
And it's one way to buff up your Medusa. I maybe expected something a bit more defensive, something that can defend the towers. Bloodrite is okay-ish. It's not your, Earthshaker, Underlord type of the hero. But looking at the drafts, I never had a really good read on Clinks, to be honest, like how strong he can get, because he gets pretty strong early on. So, yeah, I think both drafts look relatively strong to me.
Okay. Well, the final point I'll add is Vici, team that likes to delay the game. Bloodseeker, great at lane cutting if you go for the Veil build that used to be so popular, and it's getting popular again. So who knows? Maybe they can play the game. But I'm gonna wait for that because I want to hear your final thoughts here, Effie. He gave me his. Is there any draft you favor?
I favor EG's draft a little bit more just because it does seem like they can run them over. This Bloodseeker pick, I have to see it properly to understand, but I don't see a clear Rupture target. I guess maybe the ET, but like Clinks is gonna stand there and shoot his burning arrows anyway, right? And he's gonna do it on the Roar, he's gonna do it on the chains. We'll see how it goes.
Well, before we get into the game, we do have an exclusive interview with EG's coach, Boba, and Frankie's on the sidelines to ask him the questions.
We did. No. Hello, wow, I am very excited to have legend of TI Boba with me right now. And first of all, you're known for your watertight game plans. What was your team's reaction when you pitched them your game plan for Vici today?
Kyle recommended this really good egg place in Romania, so shout out to him.
So you're all egg bound in the booth. It's not really wise to eat a load of eggs before you're trapped with each other.
Yeah, but they were really good eggs though.
Really good eggs. So basically, if you win today, it's because of keeping it Kyle. Let's head over to our casters. We've got OD, Pixel, and Fog.
Thank you very much, Frankie. Yes, game one, it has just begun. We've got a brief pause. I'm sure it's only going to be a brief one. Of course, Evil Geniuses versus Vici Gaming. I'm OD Pixel here with Fog.
Hello.
Fog, what do you want to talk about first? What are you excited to see from these two teams?
Well, we've got Ori on Storm versus Ember Spirit.
Of course, Evil Geniuses.
你这么菜，你的队友不会生气吧，哥哥啊
？11 on more of this type of team fighter. This is just a very different style draft for them where it's a lot more fight heavy early on to allow to give space to Poyoyo. So yeah, just different approach. I do like EG's approach a bit more this time around just because they do have this easy type of catch and it's a very momentum based lineup that they've gone for this time around.
No, for sure. And you like the choice of carry this game going with the Clinks. You feel this sort of fits the play style that EG's been rolling with?
Yep, they definitely really like the hero. Works well with the Beastmaster. The Death Pact, of course, too, is going to be utilized really well when we do have like the Helm of Dominator, Overlord, etc. picked up. He's going to be able to use that really nicely. And I think Effie touched on it a bit at the end there is you can just hold your ground. I know the Bloodseeker was picked after it, but they've got Chains, they've got Roar. So if you can just hold your ground and get that off, it's nice. And the lane is, I feel like this lane might be a bit tough for 11, even though he's got so much sustain that comes out as the Bloodseeker. He's versus CT, and this hero's just been so strong where you have.
Yeah, I mean, how much you think PYW is going to be able to do to hold back ET? How safe can he keep bold 11 up?
He probably can because you have the double stuns that you're going to be able to play around later on when you get Hex. So he should have a decent time at least, but yeah, I think it's still going to be a little... He's going to have a decent time to at least protect him from dying, but I still think 11 won't get much last hits up here.
Let's see. He's going to pushing the wave underneath the tower.
I'm honestly just staring at mid because like Ori, he has to make up for yesterday. It feels like he had a bit of a rough series after that first game.
Easy courier here.
Nice grab. That was the salve. Do they have any extra region? Okay, PYW did bring a salve out. They're going to need to use it soon. We're just watching the poke. Look at old 11. Just getting constantly hit from those searing arrows, hit from the Astral Spirit, and just walk down. He's going to get salved up and have to hide himself for a moment.
Mid lane, pretty even at the moment. 8 for 1, 7 for 1.
I wonder how well they're going to be able to secure Poyoyo's farm as well. It's a Monkey King, so traditionally the Monkey Kings, we'll watch PYW eat a couple hits. He should be okay.
Yeah, it's going to take 2 more. And he's got the Jukes it around the trees. Fly won't be able to find him.
But yeah, they picked a pretty greedy safe lane, it feels like to me. Monkey King, usually versus these melee heroes, he thrives, like Beastmaster. But Beastmaster plus a ranged hero is actually really strong versus this Monkey King Medusa lane. So I think securing the farm for Poyoyo could be a little difficult as the levels do start coming out for crit. You can't trade. That's the problem with Monkey King. Versus these ranged heroes, you get on top of them and trade it. You have to commit for a kill, but trading is just not really much of an option.
And with sort of Beastmaster, the hero in general, why is it that I feel like we just didn't see this hero as much as we thought we would see it coming into the tournament?
Ori taking a hit there. I think it's just a very player-specific hero, and also it's not this big team fighter. I think TI tends to just bring more team fight than any other tournament, so he's just different. He's a pusher. He's always going to be good with the itemization, especially when Dominator's populator, but you're not a massive team fighter. You're all about like pressing your advantage and taking objectives. Already seeing an early rotation. Crit. Hanging around the mid lane. Abed is having a pretty damn good time. He's played really nicely around his Sleight of Fists with his Flame Guard and dodged out, I think, 2 or 3 remnants to keep it active. And it's pressuring Ori. And we do see the early point in chains picked up on Abed. So it could look to set up for early kills with those crit moves. RTZ does take a blood right, a big one.
Yeah, how's he doing for regen? He's just got the stick on him as Fly. He's now got that self back out, he does,
yeah.
So RTZ will be topped up. Some definite pressure. I mean, old 11, for the struggles you thought he may have up there, he's farming pretty darn well.
Yeah, he's definitely recovered really nicely. Killing that courier, I think, was a big deal too, because Fly has no regen, so that he can't like trade as effectively, so they are able to pressure RTZ a little bit more. And bottom two, I mean, DY's doing pretty good work. Poyoyo is up to that 17 last hits. I think he secured 1 or 2 boars as well, so whenever you can kill even 1 boar in the lane, it always feels great. That extra big burst of XP. Are seeing the runes being checked out. DY camping bottom. Abed able to get the 1 rune. DY will look to protect this one for Ori. But Abed's coming out even in the matchup, and we saw, of course, how GPK, he really handled Ori in that one. But as we know, Abed very comfortable in this matchup and knows exactly how to play around those slight dodges versus the remnants to keep Flame Guard active.
Said and done. Out of all 3 lanes, all cores having a fine time. Nobody's getting bullied completely. First blood will finally fall on the top lane. And they won't look to die for RTZ. Old 11 able to beat him back. So these kills are ready. They can get some advantage on the setup is there. RTZ, he's in trouble. He's going to get taken down. PYW finding him. And I guess RTZ just not expecting PYW to lead him through the trees and the burst to be there from the setup into the blood right, but it was. That's RTZ out there. I mean, that's huge. That's blowing that top lane wide open.
They're playing the lane just really well. PYW is perfectly in position. You see that quick rotation. He's coming in to help.
So they get the kill. PYW won't be able to set up anything on his own. So EG at least able to make something happen elsewhere whilst the top lane starts to fall apart.
Abed sees a small camp step. He also identifies a division on the high ground there. Actually, cool play there by Abed, dragging the wave to the left, so he knows if there's an obstacle guard there. It's only there for 10 more seconds, so unlikely they'll get the D-board. But now mid,
yeah, Abed's just going to jump straight away. He's got the 6, he uses it immediately. And he goes with the remnants, the follow-up burst from crits enough. Making sure only used the couple there as well. He's still got the remnant to reset and return back to the lane.
And immediately double checking runes. Fly checks top rune. They have crit double stacking ancients to make sure that the Clink is able to catch up after this little tough start in the laning phase. And they will be able to get that illusion rune top. Abed also steals the small camp stack that we were mentioning from before. Really looking to shut down Ori. They look like they're bringing both supports though now. Vici, this is a very common move we talked about. I know at Animajor people were really harping on how much Vici did do double support movements around that 6-minute mark to help out Ori. I think he's kind of expecting that. They're starting to make their move away. They're leaving RTZ up top and just making the moves around with crit and with fly toward bottom.
Now, yeah, top RTZ's got to be careful.
He really
PYW's
does.
coming over again. 6 is about to be there on old 11. If they're getting sort of set up onto RTZ here, he's not going to stand a chance. Bottom lane, trying to get him with the aggression, EG. 2 supports backing up Ice, but Poyo keeps himself firing back. We'll see if he up top, but not quite able to go there. Old 11 didn't quite have that level 6 here. Still waiting on it in a creep or 2.
They've slowed down RTZ so much. We've seen a lot of times with these Clinks, they just rush the Maelstrom without even boots. He has to go boots in this matchup just because he's getting run down. And yeah, old 11 is gonna be 6 now. Yeah. With treads, with earn, very strong.
I mean, can RTZ even stay up here on his own? That seems it's so dangerous.
Perhaps waiting for them to maybe overcommit, checking if Abed has a TP, then they'll probably look for a counter gank play. Doesn't want to just straight up abandon the lane. They are stinging the rotation though. They have this ward that Fly did place before he left the lane.
Yeah, he's backing off. Yeah. RTZ knows he can't stay up here any longer.
They already have a jungle ward though placed for him, so they're gonna be able to watch him if he ever does farm these camps inside their safe triangle. Abed though, since he sees the storm move top, immediately starts pressing onto mid, looking to go for some tower damage. And they will send Poyoyo to the mid lane. So again, both of these safe laners abandoning their lanes.
Yeah, and Poyo, as the Medusa, can sort of sit around and farm this mid area of the map without any threat from EG's heroes.
Yeah, they've got the counter gank, same thing, right? Like Ori, he walked top, he didn't make the teleport, so he didn't have to use his teleport. Same thing for old 11, they both have TPs available. If Poyoyo gets gone on, I mean, he's priority number 1. They'll double TP to protect him. So laning phase, first 8 minutes, Vici about 1k gold up because of that top lane being so successful, 900 ahead of the Clicks on Seeker.
The difference in the carry here for Cyril so far, with the ease of lane they had to start things off with. RTZ gonna have to do a little bit more of a recovery than Poyoyo.
First, and also Vici takes the first tower. Usually the team with Beastmaster is the ones who end up getting that first one, but Vici will quickly catch back up his bottom. Gets sieged.
Actually, Vici as well. They're keeping the 3 heroes up around this tier 2. Again, just RTZ having to play so cautiously. He's been completely left on his own on this half of the map by the rest of his team, with EG looking for these sort of objectives. So yeah, just such a scary game for RTZ in these early stages.
It's great prioritization coming out from Vici, just keeping everything up their top, making sure that Poyoyo has all the space in the world. EG does have, of course, that recovery method being built up. We see the stacks, triple ancient, double hard camp. So he will be able to farm that. Once he gets his Maelstrom, of course, we've seen this time and time again, the burning barrage on it. So.
Stupendous!
I mean, what's the plan here for EG? How do they free this game up a bit more for RTZ and getting this space secured?
Well, as long as he's not getting invaded into his triangle, I think it's now okay. Like, everything's starting to stabilize for them. They're going to start like looking to rotate and collapse on mid with Ice soon. And already they have pretty deep vision as well. Both teams actually with kind of similar style of vision this game. PYW looking for the smoke up. They're taking Ori bottom.
So what sort of setup they can get? DY scanning things out, but Abed knows he's
watching.
They're watching Abed though. Look at this early ward that clicks on the ticker spot.
这么菜的队友不生气吧，哥
there
哥？
from Abed, as he avoids death absolutely. He gets caught by one of those stuns. He is gone.
He has a regen too, so he's back all the way up to full. And walking into their jungle is a little scary for the supports. Walking into a Beastmaster with all these creeps. Look at PYW getting slowed down.
Let's just charging through for the line now again. Jump over with the Remnant. PYW's gone. They might want to try for more underneath the tier 2. DY and Ori are down here.
They're thinking about it.
They have Roar at the ready from Ice. He wants to lead it. Quick jump from Abed over to the side. It's going to be okay here. Ori not wanting to go for the grab. Oh, there's a lot of EG around.
Did you? He slighted and quelling bladed the tree during the slight. A little bit of fancy footwork.
I was going to say, just sort of saying, hey, I'm going to do this. Watch out, DY.
I know where you are.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We're going to look out for those plays coming out again from Abed.
Yeah, DY has to be very careful since he's playing versus the Beastmaster. That's another reason why EG did pick it, since that Monkey King was picked so early on. Going to always be able to scout out inside the trees there for Abed to do that. Both teams just getting a lot of farm though. Just chilling back. Poyoyo must be quite happy just sitting inside the triangle. RTZ not doing nearly as well as the Medusa. Already level 9 on Poyoyo. RTZ's only level 7.
Yeah, nice. Poyoyo's having a great time. And the fact that Old 11's getting so much as well. At this stage of the game, Vici Gaming very much having 2 carries almost with Old 11 farming as well as he has done from that off lane.
RTZ's game might be pretty difficult. Like, Old 11's just gonna Atos him, just blood right full commit onto him inside most of the team fights. I feel he really almost has Atos. It's about to be done. That's when we'll probably see the big action kicked off from Vici, but they might look to anyway fight around mid tower since CG is collapsing with that Beastmaster.
Let's see what I want to do about this Vici Gaming TP coming over from Old 11. He's ready to join the crew here. It's Vici Gaming, everybody apart from DY right now around this mid lane. The tier 1 falling slowly. Poyoyo's going to start to try and clear it out.
Haven't shown the blood right. That's their best way to wave clear besides the Medusa snake. We'll stop the push though with that snake, of course, and EG's gonna smoke. Look to catch around the ancient side. I think they're recognizing that, you know, it's like RTZ's not able to farm the ancients because he doesn't have Maelstrom, and Poyoyo's just freely farming ancients at every single one of these camps, so they have to slow him down.
They've got to do something, and they have got good kill potential with the Mystic Flash.
I'm over here.
Let's see here. What's next here? Don't know, ladies and gentlemen, if you lost us, but we are back. Not quite sure what happened there. Maybe you can still hear us. And we couldn't hear one another. Hopefully it's all good. Anyway, bit of a brawl there between the two of them. Could have got, definitely got a bit messier that.
Yep. I think EG's probably pretty satisfied. They got Poyoyo. It allows RTZ to sit back, catch back up. He's got Maelstrom. He's starting to work on those Ancients, as we were mentioning, which is a quad stack. So that should accelerate him almost all the way back up. He's still going to be slightly behind the Medusa, but catching up significantly in levels because of that pickoff. EG probably wanted to get a little more, like pushing forward for that tower, but the positioning there from DY's ult just kind of did dissuade them from pushing forward. And also, I believe it is the Bloodseeker that ends up surviving through all of it too, because he was so low.
It was that last bit of damage for chasing him for crit. But able to actually get back and reset. Try and jump from in the mid, but the chain set up, and Jika comes crashing down this time. More than enough damage from EG. They get that set up into the open crit. And not many heroes are going to stand a chance at this stage of the game. So much damage at this point.
And immediately starting to siege the tower. Starting to crawl their way back into this. Vici still looking to split up around the map, just looking to get this. I mean, they are playing much more of a greedy lineup with this Medusa, Storm, and Bloodseeker Force. Until they do have that, pretty much the Atos on the Bloodseeker, it's a lot harder for them to just force this action, unlike EG, where their action just needs to come from a slight chains, and then that's a setup for the Skywrath every single time. As we are seeing that 60% win probability from these last few moments. And EG, with that mid tower taken out, they can start accessing into the Ancients and denying this away from the Medusa as well.
And backing off from the mid here as well. 15 minutes in, just 3-5.
PYW has been quietly farming the top lane for a very long time. He is 600 gold from Blink Dagger. Should have a pretty decent timing on that one.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty huge. It's all about the catch of both these squads. The amount of follow-up.
EG just has clear, like look at this ward, it just completely sees all of Vici walking through, even the ward up on the high ground right above there too. It's going to see them walking even more so through, so clear information right now for EG of what they want to do with their next move. And Abed's invis, sorry, smoked up.
And ready for that chain setup.
And even has like a hawk even as well on top of Old 11.
They want to go for that. They know that how much is standing around Old 11 here.
They just need the Skywrath in range with the chains. To see Poyoyo picking up his Manta, so he's got much more survivability versus that chains combo. He's gonna always be able to disengage with it, so understood why he's gone for this item build this time around rather than we saw the S and Y earlier. Needs a way to be able to disengage from the Ancient Seal and those chains. And now up to 1k gold lead for EG. Arteezy's getting all the space in the world. Just sit back while his team pressures the Ancient side. Vici might have to just smoke and potentially just try to clear their Ancients, because Poyoyo's getting a lot of farm denied away from him.
EG dealt perfectly with the way that Vici were able to gain that lead in the first sort of 12 minutes or so of this. Addressing the problems directly, and now Vici Gaming, they're the ones that have got to try and rectify the state of the map right now, of EG taking control.
Look to clean up the creeps. 2 boars down. Will they get the Centaur? They won't. Slow-paced game though, Owen. 3-5, 16-40.
Stupendous!
And who sort of benefits from it the most? Do you just sort of look at the Medusa and feel that Vici Gaming are going to be more comfortable with this sort of slow down in action, or Vici always got the tools?
You know me. There's an ET on one side.
That's true, the ET.
Natural order is a pretty good mechanic. And Arteezy, he's got total time to catch back up. He's still behind, as we say, versus that Medusa, but so many recovery points. And the game for Ori is difficult. He's going to be going for the Orchid build, since you pretty much have to on these Storm Spirits, but a lot of different things that can just trip him up. The instant silence, the chains, these two things are just easy. It's either one of them just catching onto him, and he's just likely dead.
And, you know, no sort of ways to bail him out either. It's not like Vici Gaming have any sort of save. And it's going to bail Ori out. He gets caught, he's dead, absolutely.
Exactly, yeah. Ice's already has the helm of the Overlord too, and looks like they're going to find another kill now. Amazing vision that they have, really. Like, EG's just constantly able to play around this. They have all these deep wards down, they have the Hawk that can play around too, and Vici just doesn't seem like to be able to fight back.
No, not at all.
With a Beastmaster lineup, we're getting a 1 kill.
Straight to the road shot. Give them continued vision around it. They don't have any sort of information on Vici Gaming approaching immediately.
It's just dead too fast. Their actual best teamfight hero is the Monkey King in this game. She starts to feel like she can get involved. Very crisp macro movements.
That's just solid stuff. They're just controlling this triangle completely.
Yep.
Taken down on the front of it all. Now the chase comes out from Ahmed. Straight over the wall to do some Poyoyo. Will be able to remove his change with the Mante. But it's still trying to dive in onto him over to the side. The tree is caught. DY hits the ground. You've got Ahmed diving into the base. Past the tier 3. Chains it back up. He's going to be able to kill the Medusa. Poyoyo's dead. Get back out of there. DY one down as well by Crit. As EG, I mean, it's what are EG Gaming doing? It's a sort of slow start. And then as soon as they lost that triangle to EG, they lose the Roche, they lose the team fights, and now this sort of a hit where pretty much the entire team goes down. EG's just hitting their timings of Vici Gaming, they're getting shaken up real bad.
I mean, already has Natos. So that offlane Bloodseeker, who ideally wanted to get some type of pickoffs off, hasn't even gotten an opportunity, it feels like, to use Rupture, to even use his Natos. And as we mentioned, Ori, that was a big risk. Dead. He's just dead every time if he commits like that. He needs to have somebody else start the fights.
I mean, he needs to have his next time, really.
He just got the Orchid.
But I mean, as you said, though, it's just such a hard game to play with the Orchid alone. You've got nothing to protect yourself.
Yeah.
EG is absolutely going to catch you. You can only go in and silence one hero.
He has to have the bodies going for him first. Like, DY has to throw his life away, or Bloodseeker has to just throw his life away so that Ori can actually get to play his hero in these lanes, or in these team fights, because he's get chains, get silence every single time he's dead.
Yeah, I know. Look at this as well. EG no stopping straight around to the bottom lane.
And look at Ahmed too. He's had the Jackal locked the whole time for that Maelstrom, and he's just going straight for BKB. They might just end this game really early on.
Absolutely. I mean, with the push potential that the Beastmaster can help them with, they have every means to take a sort of early high ground. They take one more fight against Vici like that one just now outside of the base, and are able to wipe them. You know, these tier 3s of Vici Game are going to get focused very early on in this game.
And they're even just pushing bottom. Like, they have to address this on the side of Vici because of how big the Beastmaster is. They're always going to have to send a hero to react. And because of this, now look at EG. They're ready
this
for
wraparound. I don't know if Vici Game is going to be ready for EG coming from this angle.
They're trying to bail out. They know. Did he even get it disabled? I think he just died to the sheer damage.
It was just the raw damage. He goes and he gets he's just gone.
That's not even with everybody, too. Ice was still just lingering around the mid lane. They kill the Skywrath, but they lose 3 big ones.
Everything continuing to plan here for EG.
It really has just been picture-perfect planning for them. Yep. After those lanes didn't go perfect for them, they, like you said, invading the triangle, denying that away from them to do so, seems like a recipe for success, as they have just so much dominance now. 2 tier 2s taken out so early on, now just going for top as well, and the control continues.
It's going to be another tier 2 soon. If they keep this pushing and turn into tier 2 as well. I feel like this has got to be one of the games where all tier 2s have gone down the fastest if EG keep this up.
I agree.
Some insane push in early game here from Evil Geniuses. Vici Gaming, they've got to regroup, gather themselves, and think about how they're going to hold it in any sort of team. They're going to try and move there, Ori. Pretty tanky here. The fight's still alive. And Silent Story, Ori's gone. DY as well. The damage comes through from Artesia. His own 11 hits for that. Surrounded by EG. PYW will attempt to help out, but he can't keep his Medusa alive. 22 minutes in, Evil Geniuses just destroyed Vici Game and they just slammed them out the way. This was a complete beatdown, and EG, I mean, this is the cleanest Dota they've brought out. It was picture perfect. They
10 minutes of
ticked all the
perfection.
boxes.
Wow. Like actual 10 minutes of perfection, right? That they're going to be able to get something for Ori, and they saw it coming immediately, and boom, they just get like a full cleanup kills. Artesia was able to sit back farm. Yeah.
That's it. Perfection there from EG in this game 1. We'll see if they can do it again in the second one, but what a start for EG in this series.
Thank you so much, Odie Pixelfog. My goodness gracious, that was a game. A blink if you miss it. EG coming out in full force. Tsunami, my man. I haven't seen anything like that on the stage so far.
Odie Pixel said it. It was near perfection. I don't really think that you could have optimized any more than that entire game, which is funny, Jenkins, because you and I were speaking before this entire day started about how Vici Gaming prides itself on optimizations and how EG may be not as not taking the same early game approach, but here it just seemed all flipped on its head.
Yeah, I think the question we had was, so the way Vici likes to play is they're one of these teams that they will rotate heroes around in the laning stage just for efficiency. They don't do it for kills. They're not going for these like smoke plays or anything, but they just put this wall in front of you in the laning stage where, like, you know, there's a Grimstroke in the safe lane pushing the wave out safely from trees with the Quelling Blade. Somebody's jungling. They just do this like efficiency in the 10 to, you know, until like 10 to 15 minutes. But EG just broke it. And I think that was the question we had, was like, Crit is the type of player that runs around and makes opportunities happen. And I mean, I didn't think it was going to go like that. I mean, I figured that there was going to be, okay, one of these playstyles was going to win out. Either it was going to look like Vici was a wall and EG couldn't break it, or Crit was going to break it wide open, and then Vici was going to look maybe not exactly like that, but close to it.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like what's interesting in that game is how long it's kind of a lull for, right? Like, there's not much happening for, let's say, 15 minutes, kind of slow. And then EG are like, okay, we flick a switch now. This is what we wanted. We have our vision heroes. They have their key items. We're strong at fighting. We're going to run at you until it ends. And that's basically it. And honestly, I can understand this GG out from Vici. It might look like tilt or whatever you want to call it, right? Because like it's such an early GG in the game, but everything their lineup wants to do and everything EG's lineup wants to do, it's just been like EG have just accomplished everything. They have full map control. They have a grip of everything, and they're winning the fights. So coming back from that is almost impossible. And sometimes it can be better to just be like, okay, call a spade a
get out,
spade. We lost.
Mm-hmm.
Don't break yourself down mentally. Go next game.
And I think EG is the type of team too that they probably weren't considering this, but just as like a fact, like EG is the type of team that during the whole NADPC, we saw that they would often take these really long games, but the moment that you give them an opening, they go straight for the jugular and they just destroy you. So EG was this weird team where they would be very patient. They would play for only like perfect plays, the best opportunities. But then the moment that they could get that, it was like just all gas, no brakes. And in this game, it just happened so early that it was arguably, this was like the biggest stomp of the playoffs, I would say, so far.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel, Tsunami?
Secret OG, maybe? Game 2?
Yeah, but at least they fought until
that
like...
was an EU stomp.
They fought it out.
Yeah. And at least like tier 3 towers are falling at some point, tier 4 towers, so you call it GG after that. Whereas this one, and it's what I have been critical of for Vici for a long time. I don't think that they have the same killer instinct that Evil Geniuses does. Even though both these teams have been proven to be very consistent, Vici Gaming is just consistent to a slightly less flamboyant degree, and they will be top 6 finishers consistently, but rarely ever grand finalists.
Well, this is the chance to prove it, right? I mean, they've got to win this one out and move on forward. This is TI, man. This is like the make or break moment. Do we continue to follow in kind of the calm that we were talking about, the same kind of drafts that are a little predictable, or do we pull out something crazy? Now, speaking of crazy, by the way, we had some nuts moments on our first draft, and I want to make sure that for Game 2, this is a very serious series where someone will be going home from the International, that we keep things professional and on track. So I would like to welcome a friend to the panel here. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may please introduce if you ever say anything, you're going to make little people cry. Don't touch little people.
Three Bs can replace every bird. Birds are not held accountable. They should be held accountable. Oh, he's blurring out.
He doesn't like that. You're fading him from existence.
I blurred him out.
Don't walk in front of little people.
Hey, what the?
Little people cries. Do not do this anyway.
Who's been a good boy?
Don't touch little people. Focus on the panel. Thank you very much. Very important match here. And little people, he will cry tears of shameness for what you've done here today. Anyway, we got a little piece here to give you guys some more insight into Vici Gaming. Do not touch little people, please, as we take you over to there. Let's take a look. Little people.
就是整个 TI 生涯里面最伤心，或者说最惋惜的一个场景，应该是在。
那可能是 TI 6那年，我好像在以后面打的 TI 嘛。 然后那年小组赛也比较顺利的。
然后我们赢了 A 队以后，我们已经锁定前6了。然后在下一场的胜者组决赛那个比赛中，我们就是那一场比赛对我们来说很关键。我们在那一轮遇到了一级战队。
当时其实我们觉得一级并不是很强，我们挺有信心拿下那场比赛的。
This range track, that's going to be mega. EG going to need a miracle, not a position you want to be in if you're an EG fan right now.
纣王，然后当时场面我记得我们还是挺优的，甚至一度破了别人的3路，已经出了超级兵。
EG might just not have the bodies to do this. Can they get PPD out? He gets a first step away, but no! The extra damage comes out from the Warlock as the Fatal Bonds eliminates him, but nice! He almost dies! Court might enable them to still win this game. EG might be able to do this. Evil Geniuses are holding. They're holding it at the bench here again. If they kill him, he'll take him out. Oh, they revive back to the tier. Oh, the throne's going down. The throne down to half HP. Game
1. 然后就被超级兵翻盘了嘛，然后就作为史诗一直被大家吐槽嘛，就领先特别多，然后被超级兵翻盘了。
TI 上的超级兵翻盘，
因为我跟艾斯艾斯的关系也好嘛，然后我就打完特别生气，然后就非常生气的指着他说：“哎，你小狗实在让我太失望了。”
然后直接影响了我们那一把输了以后，直接影响了我们第2把的心态和操作，直接导致我们第2把输的很利落。
All right, fantastic there. As we enter, little Peepo, he's still here.
Get him out of
no,
here.
No, keep him.
He does not like cringe. Look, he danced as soon as you
Oh,
start
he doesn't
talking.
like
anyway,
cringe.
back to this. We have one game away
He's come
from
to the wrong panel.
potentially Vici Gaming exiting TI. Please stop dancing as we continue now.
Idle animating.
That is an idle animation. He seems to like it. He is not dancing. So, oh, okay, that
There
was
he
cringe.
goes.
Let's
Yeah.
move on. Cinderin, back to getting serious here. Little Peepo, get out of here. Don't make Daddy smush you, little Peepo. It's time to go. Time to get serious again. Bye-bye. Perfect timing.
Great.
We practiced that for 6 hours this morning, so I'm glad that it went through. All right, so Cinderin, you're in Vici's shoes. Is that a game that you would have GG'd out quickly to get your head back into the game? And I would like to say to the new viewers here at Dota 2 that doing such an action, not a bad thing. You got to get your head in the game. You got to move quickly. Cinderin, I rescind my question to you because our teams are simply entering the arena. I don't care what you have to say, Cinderin, because I would rather see the teams enter. It is almost time for game 2 as EG face off once more. All right, now you can
Let me know what
answer
you
the
care what I
question.
think.
Go ahead.
I'm ready.
Cinderin,
You care now?
I do care.
Unrescinded.
Where's Peepo?
Where is Peepo?
Please focus on the match
Okay,
here, Cinderin.
so I think it depends a bit on your team dynamics. There are some teams that the most important thing, honestly, is that the team is on the same page about what your your approach is to GG calls. Some teams have the mentality we play until the throne falls, no matter what. Others have the mentality that if it's over, it's over, and those two things don't necessarily always align. And for Vici Gaming, I honestly don't mind the GG. Like I said, I feel like the game's just lost, and it's something we've seen championship teams also GG out in similar situations, especially player that comes to mind. A lot of PPD-led teams will GG out in positions like that because, like, I had a strategy, I had a game plan. It either we mis-executed or it was a bad plan, but either way it's over, and you don't want to waste all that energy just grinding through a loss if you feel like it's hopeless, right? It can look like tilt. Like I said, I think Vici Gaming are going to look better in this game, and they're going to change some things up, and they just identified that game was just not going their way.
I think so too, and I think Vici is the type of team that they usually have a pretty stable early game. Their laning is strong. Like I said, they don't go for kills, but they're really good at playing the laning stage efficiently. So coming out of it and getting snowballed on like that, I don't think that's necessarily something that they're used to. Their warding in the early game too is like, I think they have top 3 efficiency in terms of
top 2
efficiency in terms of warding.
I alluded to it previously, but yeah. There's this interesting metric on how efficient you are with your sentry wards, how many sentry wards you place to find an observer ward. LGD, obviously the best because they are seemingly the best at everything, but Vici Gaming is a close second.
Are you telling me that people actually keep track of the efficiency of sentry wards?
Very much so.
My goodness gracious. I don't even buy them.
Yeah, while you were doing a little
100% efficiency.
Researching that.
That's right. You know, if you don't buy sentry wards to D-ward, that's 100% efficiency, guys.
Divide by 0.
That's right. So anyway, though, interesting to talk about these drafts again. Tsunami, you've been a little critical of Vici for kind of playing by the playbook, always doing it the same thing. Do you expect us to go to potentially crazy places here in this draft?
No,
see something new?
I think they should go back to more what they were familiar with. You mentioned that they had picked Snapfire every single time previously in their upper bracket series, and so I think that that's something that they can rely on. It's even tough for me to diagnose something that was wrong with them. I think it was just EG getting everything that they wanted. I think maybe ban out Ice Beastmaster. I think the vision thing was, to me, the downfall, especially in such a quick game. I think with Ice could have been on a variety of different heroes, but it wouldn't have ended that quickly. So giving Ice such a powerful vision hero, like maybe even ban out Nightstalker, stuff like that, I want Vici to focus more on not letting Bulba get what he wants, not letting him have his Kyle Egg strategy come to fruition.
What in the name? What is the Kyle Egg? I believe I missed that.
You didn't hear the interview?
Does Kyle lay eggs?
Yes.
He did not specify where the eggs came from, so it's a very real possibility.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Kyle is known to drop things on the TI main stage,
It's
so
true.
definitely could drop an egg and I would not put it past him. So
He's not here to defend
anyway,
himself, please.
what was I going to say? So I think, I'm assuming in this game the pick order is going to be mirrored. I think Vici Gaming will try to get their hands on the last pick of the first phase this time around, and that changes the dynamic a lot. Because if you have that spot, you don't necessarily, like you pointed out, Beastmaster could be a target ban against EG, but you don't.
He does this all the time. I love that he does this.
He's so zen.
I don't know if he's memeing or if he's actually
all right, guys.
meditating.
It looks like it's time to wrap it up. We have the hell of the best draft you have ever seen coming up, and we are going to do it with Avo and the panel.
Evil Geniuses versus VG Gamers. Game 2.
I don't know what I have to do, Slacks, so you will pronounce my name correctly. But my name is Ava Plus. I'm here with Effie and Lacoste. We're here to analyze Game 2, well, the draft specifically, between Vici and EG. That Game 1 was a bit rough. Was it what we would expect, though, from Vici, who
No, definitely. I mean, looking how Vici Gaming played, they usually don't GG out. They did not lose. They even had a tier 2 tower. They had Medusa. They could have potentially tried to play. But sometimes you have to call it. Maybe that was the right call in this situation where they don't want to play this game for another like 15 minutes. Even though it's an elimination game, I would still prefer if they like play until the end, which some teams love to do. What I want to see from this one, from Vici Gaming, is pick up the offlaner. Like pick it up in the first phase because it got banned out in the second. Bloodseeker didn't really strike me as 11 hero. Yeah, it was a decent pick in terms of the laning because he has a high base armor against the Clinks. He was on top of the net worth, but I want to see him on something that can initiate, like anything with a strength. Give him that Legion Commander, Night Stalker, Tide Hunter. Tide's available actually, and Doom is banned out, so I want to see them get Tide Hunter here.
Nope. Same start.
Same start. Okay, so 11 throughout the group stage has gotten most of his heroes picked in the first phase, and they've relied on the Tide Hunter, they've relied on Doom, they've relied on similar type team-fighty heroes, and just the fact that they've chosen to not go for that is really confusing to me because they just seem to be target banning his hero pool.
I think this is a replay. Maybe we might have loaded into a replay.
So
very bizarre to me, but the Bloodseeker was very out of place in my opinion. Even if it had a good laning stage, there was really no rupture target. What do you gain from this Bloodseeker pick?
It's not your Phantom Assassin that likes to move around in the team fights. Clinks can just stand his ground and deal damage while being static. And we see Tide Hunter banned out, Timbersaw once again, EG understanding where the threat can possibly come from. Another Invoker ban. Like, we've already seen this.
I want to ask you, like, what does that mean for team mentality when we see the
I
same
think
exact
that
draft
means, I think
start?
Syndron had a really good point how, when he talked about PPD, where if certain strategy didn't work, they called it, they missed their timings and they GG'd out. So they're one more I feel like they feel for themselves like this is it. This is something that we have prepared. This is strong and we're going to do it one more time because we probably made it work in our scrims. So
Yeah, they are confident in this opener, and these are heroes that they do want to play regardless of whether or not it's going to look like the last game in terms of the first two for EG. I think they have to adjust the offlane and mid picks here.
Okay.
That's probably what we're going to see. If we see another repeat of it,
because they're banning the same exact offlaners as well. We're getting rid of the old 11 heroes, and he is usually the pillar of this team.
he is. Whenever 11 is popping off for Vici Gaming, you know that the rest of the team is also going to have a good time. I might be a bit biased here because he's one of my favorite. He's my definitely the favorite offlaner, and because he can overextend, you know. And then with 11, you're always going to have fun watching him play Dota because he will overextend. There's going to be a couple of mistakes being made, or like he can go